to hit the apocalypse, catastrophe. Well, the only way to know for sure is by following the sun, because the sun is what dictates the reoccurrence of this cataclysm, of this event. That, according to history and research and evidence, various different evidence and historical writings, that this happens about every 12,000 years. And there's evidence from the great floods that have happened, reoccurring marks about every 12,000 years throughout history, the various different quote unquote ice ages that happens, and it connects a lot of dots in a lot of different areas. So the sun, it makes sense why the sun was worshipped in so many different religions, and why the sun has always been referred to as an allegory for example, Jesus and many other religious figures, because and why December 25th, Christmas, has been such a celebrated day, because that is the day that, if the sun continues to move south instead of moving back by north 1 degree every single day, after staying still for 3 days right before Christmas, December 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, staying still, and then on December 25th, the sun is born, and supposedly starts moving again one day towards the north by looking at it from a sunrise. But if it continues to move south, then that is when it's prophecy and everything says that is the beginning of when the apocalypse will begin. And this isn't anything that I like being right about, that I want to be right about. I don't like this. I hope I'm wrong on this. I'm just sharing my research and findings and evidence, because I feel that this is very important to know about this. That way you have a fighting chance in deciding how you potentially want to spend your fate. If you want to just get spiritually at peace with this, and be okay and at peace with death and the spiritual side of life, then that's totally cool. Or if you want to have a fighting chance in trying to put yourself in a situation to survive. But that's why I feel that this is important to share, just to pay it forward and helping others out, because this is very serious. And unfortunately, and again, this isn't something I like being right about, but most of the evidence shows that this is going to be happening sooner rather than later, most likely within the following year. And again, this isn't anything I want to be right about, but most people don't realize how important this is, and especially in the truthing community. Nobody really takes this seriously, very few people at least, and it's crazy why people can't see this when there's so much evidence throughout history of this reoccurring cataclysm, and it's not pretty. It's going to be a good book to read to understand more of what's going to happen is by Chan Thomas, Adam and Eve story. In this book, this book was actually declassified by the CIA, but then brought back out with parts of it missing. But you can still find the whole PDF online for free and read it, and it's pretty scary. It talks about 500 mile an hour waves that are going to be coming in, that are miles tall, and earthquakes unlike anything we've ever experienced, fires, lightning, everything. So this is a cataclysm, a reset that wipes out about 99% of humanity, and that's the beginning of the Genesis, the story of Genesis Revisited, and that's why I recommend to read this to get an idea and to know just why the CIA declassified this, because this is something that's known about. But so as you can see the various different timelines that they're stating here that different cataclysms have. And you can see the last one happened close to about 12,000 years ago. And supposedly, I believe that there are mini resets that happen in about half the time, I think about 6,000 years. But the worst one is what happens every 12,000 years, which is supposedly what we're going to be going into. So there is a lot of different research that shows that this could be happening starting in this winter solstice, according to like the Mayan calendar, and the Mayan calendar, which a lot of people got confused and thought that meant at the end of the world of 2012, but really it was 7 years after 2019. Book of Revelation, all all this is it makes sense why there were so many stories talking about this apocalypse and catastrophe that happened. They were trying to warn us about what happened, what came. Revelation, what was I going to say? And a good channel that follows the suspicious observers. They do a good job. They are they follow a heliocentric model, so just know that going into that, whether or not you're okay with it, I like that. But they do a great job of following and doing a video every single day, following the sun's movement, so that they can pay attention, get signs as to when this might happen. But oh yeah, so this a good book. Not a good, it's got a frightening book, but End Times 2019. This guy did an excellent amount of research into this book about the different history of religions and about the fellowship, and it's quite frightening. And unfortunately, there's just overwhelming evidence and coincidences that lead to this year happening. So again, it's not anything I like being right about, but I hope that this is just a big misunderstanding. But I want to put it out there for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear and are able to see the truth, and they deserve a fighting chance to make the decision for themselves and what they want to do. So, guys, follow the sun, pay attention to the sun. I would get mentally and spiritually right and peace with death and understanding what you want to do, or start making decisions fast about what you want to do with your family, because this is most likely going to happen within the next year. If it does start to happen at winter solstice this year, then it'll either happen very quick with massive waves coming in, or it may not happen until closer to the end of next year after the sun once it's continued to keep moving south by 1 degree every day. I'm not sure exactly how long that's going to take for it to get to that threshold of where all the insanity begins. We'll definitely probably notice craziness early on, though, because the sun's going to be doing patterns it's never done before going south. I'm sure we'll have to see some very strange weather that we've never seen before, and yeah, so it's going to be interesting time. So be safe, friends. Do research, and got nothing but love here. Have a great day. Bye.